In this video, I'll give an overview of what ESOL is, as well as some tips for teaching adult learners. First, what exactly is ESOL and what does it stand for? ESOL stands for English for Speakers of Other Languages. Now we'll go over some differences between learning a foreign or world language and learning a second, third, or fourth language in an ESOL setting. Many of you speak some other languages, at least a little bit, and you may have learned them as a foreign or world language in school in the US, or as a second, third, or even fourth language if you immigrated to the US or if you lived in another country. There are some big differences in these two experiences. For example, foreign or world languages are usually taught in high schools where the students are from similar backgrounds. Oftentimes, foreign or world languages are taught in isolation of real-life context with an emphasis on grammar, and the teacher often is a native speaker of the student's home language. Those of you who are former ESOL students know that there's a big difference between learning a non-dominant language in school for fun or for professional or educational purposes and learning the dominant language as a second or third or fourth language in order to be able to navigate the world in your daily lives. In our ESOL classes, we are doing second or third or even fourth language teaching. This is an immersive experience where students want to learn English so that they can use it in their everyday lives. Unlike in a foreign or world language setting, the students will come from a variety of backgrounds and their teacher oftentimes does not speak their home language. Since second or third or fourth language learning is an immersive experience, our program focuses on speaking. For most adult learners, speaking is the most important skill to acquire early, and this is almost always a skill that students say they want to develop during the class. As a result, you'll notice that while our curriculum incorporates reading, writing, and listening activities, the focus is primarily on speaking. Next, be a partner, not an expert. Our role is to be a language partner, not a language expert. We always like to remind our volunteers and students that languages are always changing and that everybody has an accent. It's important to note that ideas of standard English or the right way to speak English are associated with professionalism and success and are rooted in white supremacy. We encourage you all to question any ideology that says that there is an appropriate or correct way to use English. Instead, ask what's working well. Our job as a language partner is to help students meet their personal goals and add to their English toolbox. Encourage your students and take a strengths-based approach to teaching. Teaching children is very different from teaching adults as they have different needs and expectations when they attend class. Therefore, I'll go over some adult-centered learning principles so you can be best equipped to teach the adults in our program. Please note that some of these tips can also be applied to teaching children. First, talk about why this lesson. Adults are intrinsically motivated, meaning that they are here to learn because they want to, not because they have to. Therefore, it's important to focus on their reasons for wanting to learn English and learn information about a given topic. Second, keep it relevant to them. Adults are relevancy-oriented, meaning that they consider how the information they receive can be used and applied in their daily lives. Therefore, working with the students to understand how they can apply the information they learn in class to their daily lives may help motivate them. Third, focus on their goals. Adults are goal-oriented. Each of our students identify their goals for attending the class at the beginning of the semester. These goals may change or grow throughout the class. However, it is always important to ask students about their goals to adapt the lessons provided to best help the students meet their goals. Fourth, keep it practical. Adults are very practical, and they will want to learn skills that can help them face the challenges they encounter in their daily lives. Using real-life examples, hands-on activities, and role-playing can help students imagine how they can use the knowledge they learn in class in the future. Fifth, relate it back to what they know. Adults bring their life experiences and previous knowledge with them to ESOL classes. As ESOL teachers, we should honor and acknowledge their experience and knowledge by giving our students the opportunity to share what they already know about a given topic. Sixth, demonstrate respect. We can show our students respect by listening attentively to them, creating space where they can share their previous knowledge, and talking with them rather than at them. Building rapport. Relationships are key to learning. Building rapport is essential, and it will happen naturally, but there are some things you can do during the first session to set the tone. First of all, know how to pronounce your students' names and use it during the lesson. Next, mostly use English. While our class is not an English-only space, please keep in mind that this may be the only time during the week that your partner has a chance to practice English. If you're fluent in the languages your student speaks, it might be easier for you to translate everything, but try and force yourself and your partner to engage mostly, about 90% or so, in English. Una pregunta vale 1000 palabras. Or, in other words, a question is worth 1,000 words. Get the student talking. The student is going to find the lesson more interesting if you're asking them questions rather than mostly explaining things. At the same time, make sure to let your partner take the lead on any topics that are personal. For example, since many of our students are members of vulnerable populations, you should not initiate a conversation about their legal status or the legal status of their family members. Additionally, you may want to avoid asking about why they left their home country, as for some of our students that may not have been a choice. And as a result, the experience of actually leaving their country or the experiences surrounding that may have been traumatic for them. Instead, let students take the lead on these topics rather than initiating these conversations yourself. Of course, it is perfectly fine if a student wants to talk about this. We just want to try to avoid forcing a student to talk about it if they're not ready to speak of it. The goal, after all, is to make sure that all students feel safe and welcomed. And I want to make it clear that it's perfectly fine to ask students about their home country and about their experiences. Just please be cognizant of the questions that you ask. And feel free to ask Esperanza staff about this if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. Next, get students talking to each other. One of the great advantages of our small group model is that students have many opportunities to interact with one another. You can encourage your students to talk with one another by having students teach one another, modeling dialogue, and other similar activities. I hope that you've enjoyed this overview of what ESOL is and adult-centered learning principles. In the next video, I'll go over our model and class flow. Thank you!